Mr. Assistant Speaker, and I thank the Prime Minister for bringing this particular bill onto the floor, and in expressing my support for this bill, I want to also say that it is very courageous to admit that we have made a wrong decision. In 2019, when we repealed this particular position because there was an outcry by some of our leaders that this shouldn't be the position that should be centralized. But having a central agency and a chief secretary, CACC, that for that matter, is something that can hold the public service to account, Mr. Speaker. In recent times, we've seen heads of departments going out doing their own thing and undermining the authorities of the ministers, and ministers and the departmental heads not working together. Budget's been blown out of proportion. It's because there is lack of leadership of the public service machinery. Chief Secretary's position is an important position. And again, let me say that too many times we come up with ideas to change things too quickly without thinking it through. We have too many smart people. That is fine, but Mr. Speaker, let us test some of these ideas so that when we start implementing them, they are ideas that can work for the good of the country and of course, good of the public service machinery. So, Mr. Speaker, I think this particular decision will stabilize the public service machinery so that it can continue to be accountable and be able to deliver to the nation. This is an implementing agency, Mr. Speaker. Public service machinery is an implementing. It must be stable and it must be accountable. And of course, Mr. Speaker, the recent undisciplined behavior by some of our departmental heads, someone needs to discipline them. Pull them in line and say, listen, you are stepping out of line. Get back on line and focus on your core business of running that department. As a result, many government departments are not functioning, Mr. Speaker. Not functioning because they become bosses of their own and they're not listening to the ministerial directions and the policy directions of government, Mr. Speaker. That is why I believe that this is a timely intervention, especially when we are starting a new term of parliament. And when you bring your budgets together, they must stay within the disciplines of what is the government's policy framework is. And Chief Secretary is the key position, Mr. Speaker. It's not the position, and if you don't like the person who's occupying the position, change it. But you don't have to abolish the position. And that is why I commend the Prime Minister for having the wisdom to bring this particular position back and re-establish the central agency's work. Mr. Speaker, we need every decision that we make, we must have some proper clearance of financial delegation and legal clearances that come through. And members of CACC provide that. They are the advice that they give to you so that we comply with the laws of our nation, Mr. Speaker. So I also join all the other members of Parliament and I commend the government for this. Let us work together and make sure that the Chief Secretary pulls the public service machinery back in line so that they can help us deliver the policies that we set out in this House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.